Good morning. Life is to be related. A little book from Vimala Thakar, second part of the second talk. Observe how we behave in relationships with others, telling lies and indulging in likes and dislikes, and how we create a big fuss about our own reactions. We pamper them. If something displeases us, then the whole day is spoiled. One person, one word has hurt us, and we can't relate ourselves with anyone else throughout the day just because of that one incident has taken place. We can't put an end to it. This identification with the movement of the mind, this attachment to our patterns of reaction, comes to an end when we really understand and factually see that they are only conditioned ways of behavior. They are neither to be suppressed nor worshipped. If and when the worship, the justification comes to an end, we will wonder why people justify their wrong behavior. As we have seen the content of our minds, we do not go on the defensive, and we do not hesitate to accept the perversions, the distortions, the maladjustments in our behavior. So, two things take place here. The first is that we have discovered the truth of the fact of our own mind and its patterns. And the second is that the habit of going on the defensive about them comes to an end. There is no defense. A kind of humility or innocence dawns on us. The rigidity of self-defense is replaced by an openness, a humility, and an innocence. So without moving away from our homes, from the places where we are in life, two important events take place. We have understood that the past moves through us, wanting to modify the present in such a way to create an exclusive direction for the future. That the human past wants to continue itself through us. We have understood that this is bondage. Those who have seen this are no more attached to the movement of the past, to the thought, to the ideas from the past. We use them whenever necessary, and we use them competently, but there's no more attachment to the thought structure. The authority of the mind, that is the total human past, comes to an end this way. The identification with it comes to an end, and it remains only as an instrument to be used. This is the essence of freedom. Freedom is always from the known, always from the past, from the conditioned. When the attachment to and the authority of the known comes to an end, there is freedom from the clutches of the known. When the attachment to and the authority of the known comes to an end, there is freedom from the clutches of the known. The known is not destroyed. What has been transmitted into us through centuries does not deserve to be destroyed, but recognized for what it is, and it is necessary not to be limited to it, but to live in freedom from the authority of the known. We do not want to continue the past, to project it through our behavior, and we don't have access to any other source of energy. So, what are we to do? Defenselessly, we are with the facts of life. Look at the state of the mind, where the authority of the known has come to an end, the state of the mind that is defenseless and innocent. The mind would then probably say, I don't know how to proceed from here. So we stop with the understanding of the known and the cessation of the authority of the known. One is in a state of non knowing and renunciation of any authority of the mind. Then the mind does not move in any direction whatsoever, does not make an effort in any direction, because it knows that the moment it moves, the whole paraphernalia of the past will move with it. It says, I'm not going to move. I'll be at the center. Let me be still. This requires austerity and humility and courage. If the mind reacts and stimulates an anxiety about the future, then we have already moved. The habit of the mind to be anxious about the future has come into play one more time. It doesn't stay put, but it is waiting for something to happen. It is anxious about the so-called future, and it wants to know what is going to happen. It cannot stay still. It says, I won't be moving, and the next moment it gets worried. Thus, worrying creates tension and pressure. Therefore, there is no opportunity for anything new to happen. Any new energy cannot get released because there is already the tension of anxiety, of waiting, maybe of despair or depression or self-pity. These are all reactions of the mind. So the facts were understood as they are, but the mind began reacting to those facts. We have to be with the facts without the reaction. Do you see the meaning of renunciation now? Renunciation is not renouncing clothes or houses, but renunciation is only the renouncing of the identification with the reactions. They get renounced. If there is no despair, no depression, no anxiety, then in that relaxation, things begin to happen to the individual. Unconditioned energies begin to get released in the body. We don't know and we cannot give any name or identify those energies. But the energies, which are not part of the physical and psychological structure, get activized and mobilized in the person. If and when the person is relaxed, if and when the person is relaxed in the understanding of the act. We cannot relax because we think life is our movement, our effort. If we stop making an effort, then nothing will happen to us. The effortlessness of relaxation is too much for us. The effortlessness of relaxation is too much for us. Though every day we have seen that when we go to bed, we do not make any effort and the mind goes to sleep. The mind goes into abeyance, and yet we stay alive. Though the mind was not moving in the night, something was operating upon us. Life was operating upon us and within us. There was this freshness, and even the growth of the body takes place in the night, though the eye consciousness doesn't move a finger. We have seen what can happen to us in the effortlessness of profound sleep, and yet we are afraid to be in that effortless silence or effortless relaxation in the waking hours. Meditation is a spontaneous, effortless relaxation of the whole being. Who is effortless? The conditioned mind is effortless. The I, the me, is absolutely, unconditionally relaxed. All effort is surrendered at the altar of that inner silence, at the altar of understanding. Understanding of the facts is the first and perhaps the last step that man has to take. He doesn't have to bring about a change, but he has to remain with the facts without any conflict or any tension, and then the understanding moves and operates and transformation occurs in the person. And why does transformation occur? Because truth is a dynamic force. If and when we see the truth, the energy of truth works upon the person, provided the person is defenseless, provided the person is innocent and still. Of course, we would like to have a blueprint of what is going to happen to us and how it's going to happen, at what time. The ego wants to know everything in advance, but the unknowable cannot be verbalized. There cannot be a blueprint of what is going to happen and in which way it will happen and what the procedure will be in the cessation of the movement of the known. Excuse me. In the cessation of the movement of the known, the unknown, the immeasurable, enters the being or gets activized within the person. There is neither within nor without at that stage, neither the inner nor the outer on the physical level, but the unnameable begins to operate when the known voluntarily ceases to move. We not only have to let go the grip of the known, but we have to be vulnerable to the uncertainty of what is going to happen to us. For the mother man, this is the most difficult part, for he can go to the frontiers of the mind intellectually, appreciate the necessity of giving up the authority of the mind, but then it becomes restless, frightened, scared of the unknown, and that requires then faith in life, that we are organically related to the organic wholeness of life, where innumerable energies are acting and interacting upon one another. We're not lonely here. Even if the conditioned mind ceases to move, there are energies within and around us. If we have faith, then the defenseless waiting with the facts becomes possible, and then relaxing in the understanding of the false and the bondage becomes possible too. If there's not enough faith in life, and we feel that we are the master, and that if we stop moving, then something bad, something evil may take over, we'll always be afraid of the unknown. And then that relaxation becomes a problem. Then we do not trust our understanding. Understanding is okay, but tell us what is going to happen. We want to arrest the movement of life and do some booking in advance. It's impossible. You may want to ask me, what is the basis for such a faith in this universal life? How do we know that this life is infinite and not blind, but actually intelligent? One can look at the history of the universe. Millions have been born and have disappeared, but the universe still survives. There are volcanoes, earthquakes, burning and cutting down of forests, and yet the forests survive, the earth survives. The infinite source of life seems to be there to replenish everything, time upon time. Though everything is governed by the law of birth, decay, and death, there is no end to life. Species after species may come and go, but there seems to be an infinite fountain of life. We ourselves can observe how this life is replenished through seasons cycle. We have just to watch this play of birth, growth, decay, and death. Behind the manifested forms reigns supreme the formless. In the invisible, behind the darkness and light, is the life that contains them both. When the conditioned known ceases to move, we are face to face with that infinite source of life. Man-made worlds drop away. The world of concept and symbols is left behind, and we are face to face with the totality of life, the wholeness of life. In our effortless relaxation, that immeasurable, unnameable, indescribable, mysterious wholeness takes over the charge of the person's life, and what you call enlightenment or transformation occurs. It's a happening. It's not the result of our actions. It is not something that we have obtained. It happened when we ceased to move, when we ceased to do. So, effort on the physical and on the mental level for an accurate, precise living and an effortless relaxation in the cessation of mental movement, these two together create an orderly life in which transformation takes place. Now read it one more time. So, effort on the physical and on the mental level for an accurate, precise living and an effortless relaxation in the cessation of mental movement. These two together create an orderly life in which transformation takes place. Expressions like receptivity, surrendering, surrendering the effort, and faith may sound unusual to the Western mind, but I have no other words to communicate them with you. Our organic relationship with the totality functions as soon as the I consciousness moves not. It is the I consciousness that creates a myth of separateness and keeps us in the enclosure that man has created for himself. When the mind moves not and time comes to a standstill, then, as the drop of water is back into the ocean, one is back into that homogeneous wholeness of life. It is only the wholeness that can heal. It is the wholeness that has the healing energies. To be fragmented is sin, and to be whole and to live in that wholeness is to be holy. One lives in that relaxation and lives out of that relaxation. Relationships become the movement of that relaxation. Obviously, the brain, the body are used whenever it is necessary to use them. We use the car when we want to go out for a drive. In the same way, the energy of the silence, whenever it is necessary, excuse me, in the same way, the energy of the silence, intelligence, or awareness uses the brain, uses the body whenever it is necessary. But as soon as it is not necessary, the movement is not warranted, and one is back into the total relaxation, and therefore ever fresh and ever vital. The abode has changed from the conditioned mind to the realm of unconditioned energies. Then the individual is an individual in a form. It is a human being that requires food, clothes, and shelter like any other human being. But there is no center as the I, the me, from which the human being is functioning. Transformation is not an utopia. It is science. It is a science. There is no wishful thinking or a world of make-believe there. In that state of transformation, there is no center as the me, which divides life into the me and the not me. There's only an awareness vibrating in the person, an awareness of the totality, of the wholeness of life. This is freedom. This is what we call enlightenment. This is love. The awareness of the wholeness of life. The awareness of interrelatedness of everything that exists, lives, and moves stimulates a tenderness that flows through the behavior, which we call love. My friends, love is not a sentiment, love is not a feeling, love is the perfume of the awareness of the wholeness of life. It seems to me that the whole human race that has been working with the mind and the brain, making remarkable inventions and marvelous discoveries, is really inquiring what is beyond the mind, what is beyond the brain, what is beyond the known. Coexistence with the computer and the electronic brain has posed a very serious challenge for the human race. Is there any consciousness beyond space and time? Is there consciousness that does not move in space and time? These are the questions that the human race has taken up in the last decade. We have seen that space and time are creations of the mind. They're concepts. Symbols have been created to represent those concepts, and we have been using them beautifully. We have created a world around them with the help of those, but there is a trans-conceptual reality. Life is not limited to the conceptual world that man has created. Life is not limited to his perceptions. Beyond perceptions and beyond his concepts, there is a reality which no word has ever reached and verbalized, and no color has ever painted. The energy of intelligence does not require time nor words for its movement. Awareness and understanding mingle into each other. There is a dimension of consciousness. There is an energy within us. As there is conditioned energy, there seems to be unconditioned energy. And the release of that energy renders a human being fearless, non-acquisitive, and sets him free from the obsession of the me and mine. So that's the end of this talk. Tomorrow I'll continue with the fourth talk. Have a wonderful day.